tested before. January 9th, 2002 begins like any other day for the children of the Newell Creek Village apartment complex as they make their way to the bus stop for school. But 12-year-old junior high student Ashley Pond is not among them.
She was running a little late that morning. Then before she left and she was shutting the door, she said, "Bye, Mom, love you." And that was the last time I talked to my daughter.
When Ashley isn't home by nightfall, her mother begins to worry.
I pulled out the numbers for all her friends, and I started making phone calls saying, "Have you seen Ashley? Was she at school?"
But no one has seen or heard from Ashley all day. Lori
Hello,
Pond's next
welcome
call
back.
is to her daughter's dance
Yeah, thank
instructor,
you.
Sharonda Bowen, who is also a family friend.
We were getting ready for a competition. So we were pretty much practicing every night after school. Ashley's mom asked if we had seen her and if she was at practice. And I said no, I hadn't seen her. So I asked the girls that were there in the office and stuff if they'd seen her. And they said no, she wasn't at school.
It now appears that somewhere on the 10-minute walk from her front door to the bus stop, in broad daylight, Ashley Pond simply vanished. Growing more desperate by the moment, Lori Pond finally breaks down and calls 911.
Is this an adult or a child? A child. Is this your daughter or son? My daughter. How old is she? She's 12. Okay, you don't think she's gonna run away? No, how long has she been missing? She's been missing since this morning.
They asked me, "What makes you think something happened to her?" And I said, "Because my daughter would call. She would notify me and let me know, Mom, I'm gonna be a few minutes late." So I wouldn't worry.
When you have a troubled 12-year-old girl, there are a lot of possibilities, and most likely scenarios are that she's safe and just with friends, or maybe with another relative or an ex-boyfriend. Who knows? As police officers, we take so many runaway reports throughout our careers, and more than 99% of the time, the child is safe.
But Ashley's mother remains unconvinced.
My daughter didn't take anything out of the ordinary with her. She didn't pack any clothes. Her makeup was still at home. Being almost 13, those are things they're going to take, And nothing out of the ordinary was missing out of her room.
Police are skeptical, but because of Ashley's young age, they pursue the case. One thing
Hello.
they do know, if Ashley was in fact abducted, the likelihood of finding her alive is diminishing, and fast.
If they're not found within those first few hours, especially the first 20 hours, that really changes the game. It's critical that they are located within those first few hours.
As a first step, police interview Lori Pond and her current boyfriend, James
Okay,
Kitely.
thank you.
They both seem helpful and genuinely concerned about Ashley. But when Lori is asked if she knows of anyone who might want to harm her daughter, she informs investigators that Ashley and her biological father have had a tumultuous relationship.
One of the early rumors I heard is that Ashley Pond's father, Wesley Roediger, had actually been convicted of molesting her.
The charges are reduced to one count of attempted sexual molestation when he pleads no contest, and Rutger is sentenced to 11 months probation. He's also a registered sex offender, and contact with his family is restricted.
And I heard that he was very upset about this and had actually threatened Ashley's life.
Adding to suspicions is the fact that at the time of Ashley's disappearance, Rutger was living less than 20 miles away.
One of the first people I set out to find was him, to ask him if this was true, if he had, threatened his daughter. Roediger lived in a trailer park, and as I started to walk down toward the trailer, he ran out the back door.
Police eventually track Rutger down, but when his alibi checks out, he is dropped as a person of interest.
We
we do this routinely in these kinds of cases. Try to identify people in close proximity to the victim, either because they're family or relatives, or because of where they live, to try to rule them out so that we can get on to something that's more productive.
Mrs. Pond also tells police about Ward Weaver, a 38-year-old single father who lives up the street near the bus stop and whose daughter is a friend of Ashley's.
Ward's house was the hangout place. People did go up there to get away from their problems at home.
But like Ashley's father, Weaver also provides police with an alibi.
He was very cooperative, provided his alibi for where he would have been on the morning that Ashley disappeared. Records indicated that he had been at work that morning.
In the days that follow, investigators canvass the area around Ashley's apartment looking for anything that might shed light on her disappearance.
We were getting conflicting stories.
And she told me she saw her.
Some said, oh, I think I might have seen her, or this or that. So that kind of makes it hard.
24 hours pass, then 48, then 72. But 9 days later,